let's not talk about Sperm when we're recording.
Oh, darn.
I'm just kidding. We can talk about Sperm if you want.
All right. And we're back in the game.
Oh, Taj's email is Sperm Racer 5.
Still not Sperm Racer 5.
I mean, that's what Joe said.
It looks like it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not, though. And it didn't look like it. That's the sad part. And I'm the one who wears glasses. You wear glasses, Joe?
Joe
or
wears
contacts?
glasses, too.
I mean, don't wear glasses.
Doesn't always wear them.
I don't think I've ever seen Joe in glasses.
Really?
Yeah.
Wear sunglasses like all the time.
Yeah, like all the time.
Glasses? It's not the fucking same.
I did not say what kind of glasses did I?
Nope, just had glasses.
Yep.
Whatever.
For people who can't see Taj, he's giving us the finger. And the one that means mean things, not nice things.
The index finger.
Unless you're in Australia.
It's true.
You know, the peace sign and the not so peace sign.
Oh my god, he's offended our Australian viewers.
Well, and the European ones. Back the fuck up,
Fuck
Bob.
them,
Jesus
so.
Christ.
So apparently, Jason Momoa and Peter Dinklage are doing a movie together
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
called Good, Bad, and Undead.
All
Is that
right.
what it's called?
Good, Bad, and Undead. And Peter Dinklage plays
I read
Van
about
Helsing.
this a while ago. Or at least
Peter
I think
Dinklage
a
plays
couple days ago.
Van Helsing.
Yes.
For the love of all things holy, I'm going to kill this dog.
I mean, I wouldn't do that or admit to doing it because we are recording and this will go on the internet.
I cannot confirm nor deny the last statement that was spoken on this podcast.
Fair enough.
So what is it about? I just saw that they were doing something together.
All
Well,
right,
obviously,
so
there's Van Helsing in it.
yeah, so basically,
Right.
in Good, Bad, and Undead, Dinklage will play Van Helsing, last in a long line of vampire hunters. He develops an uneasy partnership with a vampire, played by Jason Momoa, who has taken a vow never to kill again. Together, they run a scam from town to town where Van Helsing pretends to vanquish the vampire for money, but when the massive bounty is put on the vampire's head, everything is in this dangerous world full of monsters and magic is now after them. And the intent is midnight run in a Bram Stoker world, is what it says.
Cool.
Yep.
Definitely sounds really good.
First and foremost, Peter Dinklage is 50 years old.
Yeah, he's old.
Holy shit. He is old. I didn't think he was that old. Excuse me for one moment. This dog. Fuck.
And he's gone.
He quotes Midnight Run, but it sounds more like, what was that movie, Hansel and Gretel or something, where they would fake the like witches and stuff, and then
Well, no, Hansel and Gretel. You're talking about the one with Jeremy Renner?
I know he was in Hansel and Gretel. I'm trying to remember if that was the movie.
You're thinking of the Brothers Grimm with Matt Damon.
The Brothers Grimm. That's what I'm trying.
Yeah,
to
that's the one where they fake it.
Was that
Everything.
Matt Damon?
Yeah.
Where they would fake the witches and all the ghostly stuff, and then have to go in and exercise everything, and then they actually found out that there was a real witch.
Yeah, and
ended up having
they're
to
like,
save the yeah.
Not where I park my car.
This is not where I park my car. And walking
If I
away.
recall right, I actually like that movie.
That movie's actually really fun. I watch it every now and then. I mean, it's been a couple years, I think, but
Really? Has it been?
yeah. Not for Hansel and Gretel. I watched that last year.
Is that Matt Damon?
Matt Damon.
Matt Damon?
Yeah, it's Matt Damon
Yeah, it was
and
Matt Damon and Heath Ledger.
yeah,
Wow.
Heath Ledger.
Wow. That was an old movie.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
2005. I forgot it was those guys in it.
Pretty interesting. Pow.
Anyway, so beyond that, the only other news I can think of that has come out lately is the fact that Zack Snyder's cut of Justice League looks like it's being made official.
It has been made official.
It's still one of those things that I feel like until they start actually working on it, it won't actually be official.
Yeah, I mean,
like somebody
that's true.
down the road is going to be like, wait, how much is it going to cost to redo this, some of the CG and put in all this shit again? Because they quoted like $20 to $30 million to add CG and go back and do the recuts and stuff. So until they start working on it, I'm still skeptical of it, but I really want to see it. It's supposed to be out next year. HBOMax is what I saw on the headline. I don't know if that was true.
That is true. It's going right to the streaming service.
I know this much is true.
That is the way.
I definitely can't wait to actually see that. The only other thing that I might hate about it is that it was also, they were thinking about doing it as a mini series.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, so it's going to be awful if it's like a weekly thing. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, it's interesting that because Snyder was hosting a watch party for Man of Steel, and he was quoted as saying, "I want to thank HBO Max and Warner Brothers for the brave gesture to support artists and allowing their true visions to be realized. Also, a special thank you to all those who involved in the Snyder Cut movement for making this a reality." So it's kind of, he's at least confirming that he's getting the green light to work on it.
Yeah.
And then the dude, Robert Greenblatt, chairman, Warner Media Entertainment and Direct to Consumer, which is a weird title, but whatever. Gotta
give him a title to pay him some money. You know?
Yeah, apparently. He said, "Since I got here 14 months ago, the chant to release the Snyder Cut has been a daily drumbeat in our offices and inboxes. Well, the fans have asked, and we are thrilled to finally deliver. At the end of the day, it really is all about them, and we are beyond excited to be able to release Zack's ultimate vision of the film in 2021. This could never have happened if it weren't for the hard work and combined efforts of the teams at HBO Max and Warner Brothers Pictures." That's the statement. So that's, I mean, as of right now, like Joe said, it's official, air quotes, but as we know, things will get shit canned later down the road anyways, but at least it sounds like they're planning it and not trying to rush it out. They're not like, oh yeah, get it done and it'll be out in June. You know what I mean?
Right.
At least they're giving them money and time to do it and do it right. It sounds like, at least.
Now, what do you think happens if they release this and suddenly it's one of the most popular comic book movies ever? Dare I say even like more popular than some of the Avengers films. Do they suddenly go, oh shit, DC, we can work with this going forward in DC? Or what?
I mean, it'll be interesting because if it is as popular...
Because you already have Batfleck saying that he doesn't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
And you're already switching gears towards a different Batman movie.
Yeah, a different era of Batman.
But you still have the other movies coming out for Wonder Woman still coming out. I think they still have something planned for Aquaman. And, of course, they have plans, quote unquote, for the Flash movie.
Yeah.
That keeps getting kicked down the road. But do you think that they somehow get Ben Affleck to come back and they continue doing these movies if
Probably
it
not.
becomes super popular? No?
No. Unfortunately.
I know Henry Cavill has said that he still wants to be Superman.
Yeah.
I did hear that, but I don't think that, they weren't really shit canning Cavill the same way that they were kind of pushing Affleck out. Is my thought.
Well, it's not that so much they were kicking Affleck out. It's that he was so overwhelmed and in a bad place in his life that he just wanted to step away from the project. And the fact that he was getting older and having to put on that kind of muscle and everything for something that wasn't really
a good job of it.
Well, yeah, great job. But he's getting older and his body's type isn't really made for that. And as someone who has, at that point, he'd have to be in that state of body
all the time
because it'd be his Batman movies as well as whatever would have gone with the Justice League movies. It just would have been more a toll on him than anything else.
Do you think they could get away with just bringing him in for Justice League movies, though?
They could.
I mean, what if we don't do
solos?
Singular, solo movies for Batman.
You definitely could. It'd be easier on him too.
Do you think that would be viable? I mean,
it's
Batman,
not something that I would want.
Pretty draw. It's got a draw to it. So to not make any Batman's movies whatsoever would be kind of cutting yourself off with the ankles, I'd say.
Yeah, it's not something that I would want to see. I want to see more of Batman, Batfleck make movies.
Yeah, well, we would see
as a way to continue what you have right now, because I think you do have some fantastic characters, or Jason Momoa, Gal Gadot, and Henry Cavill. Like, they've done what, at least to me, with those characters, what Marvel did with their characters, where it's like they cast them so perfectly.
Yeah.
That I would like to see this group continue to go forward.
I agree. It was really short-lived. So at the very least, I'd like to, it would be nice to see them get some sort of tenure. And them, what? So Cavill had one standalone and
two standalones. 1984 comes out later this year, hopefully. Or actually, no, I think they moved it to the beginning of next year, right? I think officially.
I don't know. I thought it was still coming out this year.
No, because it would have been out this month. Like, it would have been out in May.
Yeah, but pushing it back all the way to next year didn't sound right.
Let's see. Oh, no, it says here August 12th.
August 14th.
Oh, August 14th, yeah, sorry. Premiere on the 12th, release on the 14th. So we'll see if that actually is a thing.
I think that's further enough down the road that it probably will happen.
So Wonder Woman has got 2. Superman has
just the
one
one
standalone.
Yeah, I suppose one standalone, yeah.
Yeah,
Batman has none.
Not for Batfleck, at least.
Not for Batfleck,
No.
But we're talking about these characters.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's not much tenure to any of their characters, and then they've got 2 Justice League movies.
Well, 1.5, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the complaint that we had, or the fear we had before, is they were rushing into the team up movies before we established those characters.
Singular characters.
Yeah. Like, in the most part, fans, they know who they are, right? But you need more than that for...
You still need to establish the characters on screen. And
yeah. Not everyone reads comic books or knows who Wonder Woman is, the backstory. So you needed that, but it's just that's the way they decided to do it, and like, it would have worked if they would have had a better plan, but they were so spread apart that it wasn't really working out for them.
Well, they wanted to rush the Justice League to theaters so much so that they weren't overly concerned about really doing any establishing movies for the characters. And so that's why you end up with, Aquaman after the fact, and, Wonder Woman came before. But, like the Batfleck movie was going to be after, all these things after, is because they were so concerned about getting Justice League to be competition to the Avengers movies. But really, they would have been better served to set those characters up, and I think it probably would have helped the Justice League too, from a box office standpoint.
Well, box office standpoint, you're gonna fail when you rush things like that anyway, especially something as big as that. But that's the thing that Marvel has, that many people have talked about, is they have Kevin Feige. Kevin Feige was the linchpin that set everything, all the plans up. He's the one that's
right.
He hasn't written anything, but he's the one that's basically held everything together, and everything kind of goes through him. Where they don't really have that for the DC movies. It's basically just a bunch of people, like it's a bunch of the studio heads saying, hey, this person's going to work on this person's going to work on that. Batman is going to be done by Ben Affleck, and we'll just do whatever he wants. And it didn't seem like there was a cohesion there.
There was nobody pulling all the strings, essentially, is what you're saying. Or at least
lining them up. Like, not even pulling all the strings, just lining everybody up in the right rows, you know what I mean?
Right. No mastermind.
I don't know. I think they had, because I know Christopher Nolan was producing most of these movies. I can't remember how much input Zack Snyder had into some of the older stuff, going back to the original Superman stuff. But I think I've always pointed out that I think that the plots of the DC movies were a lot more interesting and I'm trying to think of the best word for it, because I don't want to say like cohesive, even though what we got from the Justice League movie wasn't exactly 100% cohesive, but at least for me, the way they did the movies, going for the Superman movie and then Batman versus Superman and then the Justice League movie and then having those other movies come out afterwards, or I can't remember where Wonder Woman came out in there, but really the whole idea was that you had Batman retired, so there were basically no superheroes at the beginning when Superman came out. You have Zod suddenly comes in. You suddenly have the appearance of Superman. And so now Batman has to come back. And with Batman coming back, you have the appearance of all these characters after the fact, after
that's what
Justice League occurs. So to me, like, the story as a whole actually makes sense. And I think they were probably working towards something really good, because you could see in Justice League, you can see flashes of something in the future that they were working towards, literally flashes, because Flash, comes back in time to warn Bruce of something that is going to happen further in time. So I think cohesively, or at least in the larger scale of things, they had an idea where they wanted to go. It's just that they hit that roadblock, right, or they hit that bump with Justice League, where Zack Snyder couldn't finish it, and Joss Whedon came in and finished it, quote unquote.
Finished it.
Yeah.
Christopher Nolan had no hand in this at all.
Didn't he produce some of it?
No, it was majority of them are all produced by Jeff Johns, Zack Snyder, and his wife Deborah, and that's it. Of the conjoining all of them.
I swear that he had some sort of.
He's not listed in any of them.
He's on Man of Steel.
Yeah, Man of Steel he was. I saw that, but I'm talking Justice League, the Justice League ones.
Oh, okay, so it was just Man of Steel then.
Yeah. Because you got to remember that was at the time where he was still doing the Batman stuff. He was done doing them, obviously, but he was still in that world. Enhance. Boom.
I don't know. After all that, it's really kind of moot, because it's really, I don't see it hanging around long enough to matter much.
Okay, so Christopher Nolan isn't a producer; he's an executive producer. So they put his name on it. So,
which means he has some money.
No, he had money out of it. He was given money for it. Okay. Because I think he wrote, because of the fact that he was still tied to his contract within Warner Brother and for the Batman stuff.
But there is a 2016 article that I ran across where Zack Snyder was talking about his conversations with Christopher Nolan about Batman versus Superman. So while there was probably no direct input from Christopher Nolan, do this, do that, type of stuff, but there is some conversations that Zack had with Mr. Nolan,
which apparently gets you a paycheck. Well, several of them.
Whatever.
But he executive produced a lot of stuff for Warner Brothers that Like he did that Johnny Depp computer human movie Transcendence that we saw a preview screening of that was terrible.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he produced that.
I totally forgot about that movie.
Or executive produced that. I shouldn't say produced that. Yeah, because everything after Man of Steel, he was just an executive on.
All right.
Anyhow, the Snyder Cut is a thing now. Or is going to be a thing now, which is pretty cool. But yeah, so wait to see more about that when it gets closer to actually being released next year sometime.
Yeah, 2020 is pretty much over already.
I mean,
yeah, can we just end it now?
And next week is January 1st, 2021.
How nice would that be? Just get this shit out of the way.
I mean, if we could technically fast forward, it'd be amazing, but
yeah.
Other than that, I mean, that's one of the biggest stories that I saw. The rest of it's like, hey, we have this concept art for a movie that was out 3 years ago. Cool. Thanks a lot, guys.
And
And there's like a concept art for a couple cut scenes from like one of the from Thor Ragnarok where Loki had a different haircut and like different outfit on. There's a bunch of random shit that I saw that like people were putting up because I guess the embargo on that stuff's gone or whatever. I don't know. It's just been popping up lately.
Okay.
Oh, did you see that Tom Hanks World War II boat movie is going to Apple?
No.
Yeah.
I didn't hear anything about that.
Greyhound. Yeah, it's going right to Apple TV. It'll be released. What they say? June 12th. Yeah, that's pretty interesting, right?
Yeah. June 12th. That's already. Wait, did you say of this year?
Yeah.
So less than.
Literally, it'll be out in a couple weeks.
Nice. It'll be interesting to see. I heard that Apple is in the process of trying to acquire the rights to like some older shows that they can add to their Apple TV Plus. I'll be interested to see what they go after and what they get.
So they got whatever it was they're going after. They got it. They have not released what it is yet, but it was something like a $200 million contract deal for a bunch of old TV programs. Yeah. Because they want to bolster their back catalog, which is pretty interesting to see. End up seeing what they end up getting, because right now there's a mad dash for a lot of stuff that was on a network that doesn't have a streaming platform, that isn't tied directly to another one. You know what I mean? Like, it isn't like spermracer@gmail.com. I just saw that come up. That's funny. But yeah, so like one of the big ones they were talking about is the newer Battlestar Galactica.
The one that was on
Sci-Fi? Yeah. Because it's technically it's Universal, which is NBC, so it should show up on like HBOMax because that's Warner's one, and then they have Peacock, which is the Universal NBC one. So it could go either way, but it's like Ronald D. Moore has a contract right now through Apple because of For All Mankind. So there's rumors that that's one of the shows they were going after, but I could see that showing up on like Peacock as more than anything else because that's NBC's. But I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, that doesn't really sound like something that Apple would be able to steal away from somebody. I mean, they could steal it if it were like an independent production company like The Expanse. I can definitely see Apple stealing it away from Sci-Fi because they don't do shit with streaming rights. But for something that actually has studios that have active streaming services, I don't see them stealing that anytime soon. unless they like they gave up super money for it.
Yeah.
Which I don't see why you would give up that amount of money for that show. Not saying it's bad. It just I don't know.
Yeah, it's very strange. What else I was gonna say? Oh, The Stand. I sent you guys a picture earlier.
That up.
Of the Variety released a bunch of pictures of the characters from the upcoming miniseries, The Stand, from Hulu, right? Is it Hulu? No, CBS All Access. I'm sorry, CBS All Access. They have Whoopi Goldberg as well. Hold on, where'd it go? I have
Mother Abigail or something.
Yep, Mother Abigail. Yep.
She's playing. Yeah.
Yeah. They show her. She got her hair's all white. She got her
super long dreads.
Yeah.
She'd be perfect for that.
She
role.
still has no eyebrows, so Jill will be happy. At least in that picture, at least. I zoomed in to make sure.
Whoopi Goldberg.
Did you? I can't really tell.
Yeah, she doesn't have any. It doesn't look like she has where eyebrows would be, but there's no hair there. It just there's a bone, and like skin. Then they have a picture of Jovan Adepo, I guess. He plays Larry Underwood. Heather Graham as Rita Blackmore. A quote from Mike, real quick. "Hey Taj, you're old and you have a kid." That's what he said. He texted me directly, so you guys aren't going to see that through the main one.
Oh, you two have a private text stream going there?
Yeah, it's called Text Messages, Joe.
Yeah.
They happen to be...
We weren't friends.
Well, I mean, it's not like a private one. It just happens to be between him and I. Like, Taj and I have one, and
so
you and I have one.
Two people? It sounds private to me.
I mean, I'm open to letting anybody in, just like my bed. But what I'm saying is you and I have one, Joe, that's just you and I. And Taj and I have one that's just Taj and I. Oh, that's different, though.
Neither here nor there. It's different.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
You're just going to say, but that's me?
Yeah. Yeah, so it's special.
Son of a bitch.
Anyhow, back to The Stand. So they have a picture of Larry Underwood and Rita Blackmore walking through the devastated streets of New York. Interesting because Rita Blackmore, spoiler, doesn't make it past that very much further, so that's good. It's interesting to see, what I was going to say is it seems interesting to see a real name person, like Heather Graham, playing a role that's not going to last very long.
Is that who that is?
Yeah.
I couldn't put my finger on who that was. She's
the rich older lady that kind of teams up with Larry in New York, and then she overdoses on the overpass under the overpass on the freeway the night like they're getting ready to leave. She just can't handle it, so she takes all of her meds and boom.
Nice
yeah,
to know.
That's right. She really wasn't in the book that much.
No, she's literally in the Larry Underwood intro, and then that's literally it.
Unless they end up expanding the role just a little bit.
Yeah, I mean they could. You have Amber Heard's Nadine Cross pictured with a lady with her back turned. I'm not too sure who it is, and a little boy named Joe, apparently. So there you go, Joe. You're in it. You look like
he's a little boy.
Yep, he has a guitar on his back.
No, maybe I'm trying to remember what was the name of the little boy, the like crazy wild little boy in the book.
That could be him, but I don't know if that's. I mean, he's trying to see if I had a list of the. Nope, that's the wrong one. There we go. Haha, list of Stan characters. Find Joe. A young Leo Rockway, known then only as Joe. Yeah, that's the feral kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. He doesn't look very feral in that picture, though.
Exactly what I was going to say. If that's him, it doesn't look as wild and crazy as I thought he would be.
But that also looks like they're already in Colorado.
Yeah, well, I don't know, because his scenes took place in a neighborhood, I want to say. So, I mean, it still could be just any, it could be the right where he was found. But then again, the guitar throws me off because I don't remember him.
Well, it's Larry's guitar, right?
Was it?
Because Larry's the one that runs into Nadine on the way to Colorado.
Uh-huh.
So I'm thinking that's the guitar, but I don't know. It's hard to say.
Yeah. That was a long book, and it was a while ago that I read it.
It is a long, very,
So
it's going to be a long book.
I
Then you have
details of it.
Owen Teague as Harold Lauder. He got his own picture with his spray paint writing about them going to Atlanta. Then you have him and Odessa Young as Franny Goldsmith, all snuggled up, and he's in his best attire. Then you have the picture I sent you guys earlier of Alexander Skarsgård as Randall Flagg, the man in black, as they say. Then you have another picture of him in the prison with Nate Wolff, who plays Lloyd Henreid. That was one of the most intense parts of that book, is him being alone in that prison with all the dead, rotting bodies around him.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's one of the, I think he was literally the only person that survived in that whole prison, but he was locked in his cell.
Wing, yeah.
Yeah, so it's pretty crazy. And then they got a bunch of people in makeshift hazmat suits walking into a building. I don't know what it is. It just says that's all there is for it.
Yeah.
And then you got a really spooky looking house with Franny Goldsmith standing in it. And that's about all the pictures we got. But I did
really
look
cool
up
pictures.
It's interesting that they didn't show a picture of James Marsden, though, because he plays a pretty pretty big character in the book. He plays Stu, so you'd think he'd be,
even as that. He's also James Marsden. You'd think he's one of the bigger names of the show.
Yeah, bro, that's what I'm saying. But yeah, so, and also Greg Kinnear is in it. Marilyn Manson plays Trash Can Man, which is going to be awesome.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Where is this one? Brad William Hinckley, right? Plays Tom Cullen, yeah. That's a good casting, too. The former football player. And he needs to be a big dude. I think those are the only other big names in it. But yeah, pretty dope.
Agreed.
I so can't wait for this to come out. When I'm looking for the date down here. When is it released?
It doesn't have a date yet.
Doesn't have a date yet?
Mm-mm.
Boo.
Nope. Yeah, no.
This would be the perfect time to watch it.
Yeah, right? In the middle of an actual pandemic.
Yeah.
Perfect.
But it's interesting because Josh Boone, the guy who directed and wrote it, the 10-part miniseries, he's the one that wrote and directed the new Mutants movie that is still yet to come out. So he has two things that have been, well, one has been pushed back several times, but actually seems to be actually coming out. And then, of course, there's The Stand. It'd be interesting to see if we get The Stand before we get New Mutants. But New Mutants is set for August of this year, so we'll see if that actually happens.
That's cool.
But I think that's about it.
What do you know about the original miniseries?
I watched the original miniseries.
How was it?
Not good.
Is that? What is it? Hold on.
And if I remember correctly, and I correct me if I'm wrong, I believe to save time and money, they combined several characters and used only major plot points of their story arcs to push the story forward, because there were certain people who, yes, they were important. Like, I think they combined Nadine Cross and Rita Hayward.
Really?
If I'm not mistaken, those two character
mashups
were pushed together, and like there was one other one too that was pretty major, because one was a main character and the other was just lesser of a main character.
Some solid names in this one, though.
Oh, there was a huge thing. Yeah, it was going to be massive. Just a lot of those early Stephen King ones had huge names in them for the time. Look at the It miniseries.
Yeah.
The 2-parter. I don't know if you really call that a miniseries, but Supermax miniseries or something. Yeah, no, they had a lot of like really big
Gary
names.
Sinise, Rob Lowe, Ruby Dee,
Yeah.
Laura San Giacomo,
Yeah,
Holly
buddy.
Ringwald, Ed Harris. Impressive.
Yeah. Yeah, because Rob Lowe played Nick Ambrose, who's supposed to be the deaf kid, and I believe they did not make him deaf in the show, in the miniseries.
No time for that.
Because I remember Joe and I had this conversation. I don't know if we talked about it on the podcast or not. We had a conversation where
either, but yeah.
Josh Boone was being attacked because he announced who he had playing that character, Nick Ambrose, and it's a non-deaf actor. And this, like, I can't remember the name of the group. There's a group of people, like there's a group of actors, there's a guild of actors with handicaps, and they went after him. They this is unacceptable. Like, this is a deaf character, and there's plenty of deaf actors that could play this role. And he simply answered back with one thing: is like, I will give you this. If you've read the book, you'll know he's not always deaf. And there's a part in the book where he has this, when he's in his dreams, he can talk and articulate to Mother Abigail and others in the dreams without the hindrance of his hearing and his speech, because otherwise he's a mute in the book. He doesn't talk, but when he's in the dream state, he can. So that was what he pointed out. It was a very eloquent way of putting it. Which then
someone with the range to pull that off both sides. Yep,
because you have to have an actor who can literally speak like normal, you know.
And that's nothing against the deaf. It's just the requirements of the role.
Yep, exactly. So I thought it was pretty cool. But I remember reading about that a while ago. I'm trying to remember if there was. There was another really big character that was mashed up with another one in that miniseries. I don't remember who it was now. But I was going to go back and see if you can find that one to watch it somewhere, but I don't know if it's available anywhere. Since it was originally released on, was that on ABC? ABC, yeah. Can I find it on Disney Plus or Hulu? Oh, but it's actually distributed by CBS Television currently, so that might be. I wonder if that's on the CBS All Access. Hold, please. Keep talking while I'm looking.
Do you have CBS All Access?
I gave you. I bought a year of it. Do I have the app though?
I probably have signed into it. I just don't remember.
Yeah, didn't you watch? I thought you were going to watch the Star Trek shows.
That was me.
Oh, it was you?
Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that I don't want to. Now that I remember actually having the service or access to the service, I do want to go through and watch at least Picard.
Yeah. Well, they just greenlit the spinoff of Pike with Anson Mount.
I do remember seeing that they were doing that, but I didn't actually read the article. Did they cast anybody?
Anson Mount is going to play him. He plays him in the Discovery. He debuts in season 2.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because Discovery takes place before before the original Star Trek.
Before the original Enterprise.
Yeah.
I was gonna say it would have to kind of to fit the timeline, right?
Yeah, because the basis of the first season of Discovery, because it time jumps twice in that show. In all 3 seasons, they time jump. And the first season, he's not in it because everybody believes the Klingons are dead and gone. No one's seen him in years. And they stumble upon him. And there's a big war that happens. Season 2 is the fleshing out of the Federation. So that's where Pike comes in. And he's, at that point, he's a captain, but he hasn't moved up to like admiral or anything yet, if I'm not mistaken, if I remember correctly. But anyways, Anson Mount plays him very, very well. Excellent job in that one. And I'm very excited about them doing the spinoff with him in it.
Cool. Definitely have to watch those.
Yeah, they're really good. The visual effects in those shows are phenomenal. I was like, whoa, you guys definitely dropped some dime on this. That's why
they only put it on their streaming service.
That's why it's behind a paywall, because they want people to pay for it. Because I remember watching the first 2 episodes of Discovery when they put them on CBS to basically right as All Access debuted, so they could hey, this is what the quality of the TV program is. And I watched them and I was like, yeah, but you have that, and that's all you have.
Yes.
And like commercial free stuff I already watch on if I wanted to watch your stuff already. You know what I mean? If I wanted to watch Blue Bloods and all that nonsense, I could watch it on there too. But they've obviously added things like the Twilight Zone is on there. What other was a big one on there too? And all the different Star Treks that are on there. I'm not signed into my phone, so I'm wondering if I'm still signed into on my computer, since this is a different computer. And I am not. God damn it. Oh well, whatever. I was gonna look up what's on there, but I didn't really think about doing that right now. Yeah, I think that's everything that I know of that we talked about already.
Everything that we brought up throughout the day.
What was that, Joe?
We ever talked about the old guard?
Oh no,
Greg Rucka and what's his balls? And Leonardo Fernandez, the comic book that Netflix is making into. I'm trying to think. Is it a series? Movie.
It's a movie, yeah.
With Charlize Theron.
Yep. It's a pretty cool book.
Apparently, this Thursday is when the first trailer will hit for it.
Yeah, a couple images
July
came out.
10th is when it's going to be released. I'm going to have to go through and see if I can find. I wonder if those are on.
I was about to say, are they on?
On Kindle Unlimited.
Comixology Unlimited, I didn't say, but
Comixology Unlimited. I knew that wasn't right as soon as I said it.
Yeah, it's all right. I don't think it is.
I love Rucka.
Because it's fairly new.
The first series was 2017, and then they did a second series in.
It is not.
2019.
It's on there, but it's not part of Unlimited.
Yeah, so I'd have to buy it.
Yeah, they have the first 2 volumes on there, which are 10 issues. A total of 10 issues, I believe. It's a really good book. I mean, it's Greg Rucka, so I mean, it's gonna be good no matter what. Right. He's good, but he wrote the movie.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, so that's gonna be well worth it. I think he's gonna do a pretty good job.
And I love me some Charlize Theron. She's just a fucking badass.
It's true.
Who else is in this movie?
Did we ever find out, or did they ever say they were going to make a Furiosa?
The prequel? They're making a prequel to it.
There was, a couple days ago, there was some more articles about that. Honestly, a couple days ago was might as well have been a year ago for me.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it said.
I don't know how to say his name, and maybe Taj does or Joe. Remember the assassin from Firefly or from Serenity?
Oh,
I remember him. I don't
I know you're
remember
talking
what
about.
his name was.
It's
If
like
you say the name, I could probably get it.
it's like Chetawal Ejiofor or something like that, right?
Yeah, that's
Here's-
about as good as
I finally found it.
as I would be able to pull off.
Yeah, he's in it. He plays Copley, one of the detectives, I do believe, in the Old Guard.
Nice.
So he's in it. And it's directed by the lady who did Love and Basketball, right?
Yeah, I believe that's what it said.
Yeah. And then she's done Love and Basketball. She produced Biker Boys. Don't let Mike know that. The Secret Life of Bees, Beyond the Lights, and then she's directing The Old Guard. But yeah, I saw pictures. The poster's pretty cool, actually.
Oh, you got the poster?
The poster, yeah, it's on the. I went to Wikipedia. There's a link to
there's
it.
the poster. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. But yeah, it's gonna be extremely violent. That's the best part about it. July 10th. Seems not
For
full.
those who don't know, it's a covert team of immortal mercenaries are suddenly exposed and must now fight to keep their identity a secret, just as an unexpected new member is discovered. Is what the from comicbook.com
Yep.
says.
But this is it's being produced by the people who do did the last 3 Mission Impossible movies. And,
Okay.
Skydance Media. And they've done a lot of good stuff lately. Like they did.
I can't say that those were bad.
So, Mission Impossible
You
Ghost
see
Protocol.
That, Tom Cruise is going to shoot a movie in space?
Fuck yeah, he is. A crazy sack of shit.
Of course it would be Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Of course it would.
Of anybody.
Like, what other actor is going to put themselves out there to just be like, I'm going to space? But
You can do whatever they want.
But thinking about it, though, a lot of the requirements to actually travel to space for at least astronauts are actual so many hours of in-command flight of a fighter jet. And Tom Cruise is the only actor I know of who actually has
seat time
in-command training of a fighter jet, because he did it all for Top Gun, and then the Top Gun 2, Top Gun Harder,
Or Top Gun Maverick, whichever one you want to call it.
Yeah, whatever.
Top Gun Harder. I think that's definitely what they should rename it.
Top Gun 2, Gun
With a
Harder.
vengeance.
With a vengeance. I just wish I knew. I wish they would say more about what the movie is, or even if it's, again, going back to what we started with the podcast, is this something that's actually going to happen, or is this just somebody saying, yeah, this is what we're going to do, and then find out that it's going to cost shit tons of money to actually do? Because what do you? I mean,
well, it would.
You're going to just send Tom Cruise up there and
alone,
nobody else, like. How do you get the film crews and stuff? Are astronauts going to film this thing? I can't see that going over too well with like the Screen Actors Guilds or any other guilds that are a part of movie making.
Maybe it's from.
In all fairness,
maybe it's for Mission Impossible 7.
You gotta have the skills or the training in order to get your ass into space. So I mean,
this is true.
There are some prerequisites.
It is technically, I guess you could consider it international waters too, maybe.
Technically, you could, right?
Space Station. I don't really know how the laws of
space work.
Guilds.
We'll know when Space Force comes out.
God, Space Force
comes out next week.
It looks good.
It looks so funny. Holy shit, they are. Apparently,
they are what?
Skydance is again teaming with Paramount to do the Jack Reacher TV show that's going to be on Amazon.
Have they cast Reacher yet?
No, not that I can see on here. I'm trying to look it up or trying to look at it, but I don't see.
Because last we talked about this was when we were talking about how you felt The Rock should be Jack Reacher.
Would have been amazing. Massive human being.
Well,
of course,
there's
wasn't
other
as big, but
beings just not nearly probably as good of actors as The Rock. But again, he's not blonde hair and blue eyed.
Yeah, there's no mention of who they have yet for it. But Lee Child is being a director on it, or I mean a producer on it.
A producer.
Yeah.
Good. Maybe it won't fall to shit then.
Who's this guy though?
Although you did ruin my year with that horrible news about him handing over the book series to his brother.
Yeah, that's fucking weird. Well, that doesn't fill me with a lot of hope.
What's that?
The guy who's the writer, director, and showrunner? Is that right? Is a dude named Nick Santora, and his biggest claim to fame is he wrote Punisher Warzone, the movie.
Ooh.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's not a bad movie. It's not a great movie.
Either.
Not a great movie.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're saying it's good, not great.
Okay.
It has its redeemable qualities.
Doing a little more research. He's done some other things that are good, though.
All right, such as?
So he wrote on Sopranos. Done a lot of television. So Sopranos, The Guardian, Law and Order, Prison Break, Lie to Me, and then he was, I don't know what the hell Beauty and the Geek is.
It's like a reality TV show thing.
Okay. And then he co-wrote, created, executive produced Breakout Kings and Scorpion. All right, well, he's got TV pretty well handled.
Yeah, he's got TV cred.
Yeah, I don't know if they should ever mention that Punisher Warzone in his bio, though.
I guess technically it's gotta be there.
Yeah, I mean, yikes. A lot of television work, not a whole lot of movie work. But anyhow, I digress. Speaking of digressing, comes naturally. We are
Joe.
I'm Cody, and today we're joined by
Taj.
All right, that empty space was for Mike. He wasn't here, so he doesn't get to say his name. But I think that's it for this week's episode, everybody.
Yeah, I think so.
We good? Anything else to bring up?
Covered a lot of nothing.
We did cover a lot of nothing, which
a lot
is
of nothing going on right now.
Basically what's happening.
Welcome to the world.
Yep. So on that point, we'll close this out like we normally do and say, you fuckers just came naturally.
Bye.